Hi again, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate, basic human rights, back again. You know, as I was doing that video earlier, I was so excited about it, but it was going to be too long, and I didn't want to bore you. So I wanted to split it up in two parts. The first part, and now I'm going to prepare to do the second part. And what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this, that I have mentioned to you that I'm responding to a calling, a divine calling. I'm being called by the Spirit of God and the love of God for you, the people, to come and render a service for God by sharing information to you from God through this voice. You see, I was called to do not what others do. I was not called to imitate or emulate. I was called to do what I was given to do. And I'm not really going to challenge too many things on my own at all. But if there is a challenge, it's because of the message that I bring to you. I have but the one message that I bring. And I must admit to you that in my lifetime, I haven't heard that message come through another that I can recall. I have seen it basically symbolized through another, and that gives it credibility. And I would do it even if I didn't have that example, but thank God I do have that example. My calling is to do what it is. And since we are living in hell, as I have indicated to you, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that the message that I bring to you is not a message that you're going to like. It's not really a message you're going to be enjoying, but it will be a message of truth. And that message begins by telling you and everybody that's listening to this voice, and including me, we are all living in hell. We are all living in hell. It doesn't matter whether you are in any part of the world, any of the 7 continents, you are living in hell. We are living institutionalized. We are living in systems that were designed by those that represent the other choice. The other choice. And what does the other choice represent? The other choice represents anything outside of heavenliness, anything outside of your complete joy, anything outside of your complete peace and freedom, anything outside of your happiness, anything outside of you living your dreams. That's what the other is. The other is pain and suffering, using, lying, and cheating. That's what the other is. You see, my friends, I want you to know that these two things exist. There are two things in existence. For those that, all of us, as I indicated earlier, living here on this earth, we are in hell. Now, for those of you who might need an example of what I mean, you have heard it said that America is one of the greatest nations on the face of the earth. We don't suffer like other nations. That's what you've heard. Is it true? To some, to others, no. But what it basically indicates, ladies and gentlemen, is that the things that we are able to do here in the United States of America, they're not so easily done in Mexico or Guatemala. They're not easily done in places that are not as well kept or as well financed as America. So in one way, you would say that people living in America got it going on. People living in those other parts of the world got it going down. And so in choice, you'd rather live here. But in truth, we're all living in hell. It's just that it appears for this moment in time that this hell is not as bad as that hell. But what the message, if you're watching, if you're paying attention, that you should learn is it's a circle, a big cycle going round and round. And while you might be okay in this point in time, but if this thing doesn't change, there will be a time when they will be as the greatest nation and you will be the greatest down. So what am I basically saying? I'm saying that the hell that we live is our own creation. So if, let me just tell you something else that you've heard. It's a modern trick. You've heard it said, especially in Christianity, that Jesus Christ came down and did a wonderful thing for you. And to make a long story short, if you believe in it, if you accept it, if you confess with your mouth, believe in your heart that he is the Son of God, that he died and rose from the dead, that you will be saved. And if you're saved, you're always saved. Somebody said that. And many of you believe that without question. And some of you say you believe it because it's in the Bible. And if it's in the Bible, it's got to be true. And you believe just like that. You'll flip through the page and you'll look and you'll see a picture of a white man with long blonde hair and blue eyes, and you'll say that's Jesus. Why? Because it's in the Bible. So all white people that you see now are your superiors. Why? Because that's in the Bible. And you know well, maybe you don't know, but many of us do know that that's not true. And if we do know that's not true, then we know that somebody's being deceived. And how much heart do we have? How much love that we have that will enable us to guide and make a move that would take this darkness away from those that are so blinded? Are we playing with ourselves? And in truth, we ourselves are blind. Well, my mission here as spokesman and advocate of basic human rights here in America is to come and tell you, all of us, that God says we are missing the mark. All of our goodness is still missing the mark. See, people have set it up so you can play God cheap. You can't play God cheap. God is perfect. God is beautiful. God is wonderful. And if you are being prepared to come to heaven, you're not going to come to heaven by somebody just cleaning you off a clean slate. That could have happened in the beginning. So if you come to heaven, I don't care what they told you. You believe what you want to believe. I'm going to tell you that you are taking a risk that I will not take. See, before I do that, I trust God speaking to me. See, I just have to believe that a crook ain't going to heaven. I don't care how much Jesus give you. A crook is not going to heaven. If anybody, and I want to say this plain and simple, I don't care what kind of life you lived before or what kind of life you plan on living in the future, if you end up living in heaven, it is because you made a choice that you want to live in heaven. And you will recognize that that walk that leads you down that path to heaven is not the same walk that leads you down that path to hell. And it will be known by the way you're walking. And the way you're walking, if you're walking against hell, then you're walking for heaven, then it is known by the steps that you make. So there ain't going to be no problem there except here. If you're going against what is, then there's going to be some problems there because it's going to demand change. And you will not change. You will not be in. Why won't you be in? Because you're led by the power of the Almighty God. And you know it. And it's being exhibited through you. So that all of the dark, all of the nightness, all of the blindness, all of the unwoke can see. Now, the most wonderful thing that could happen to you in the state. Well, the most wonderful thing is if the people could receive the message that you bring. But that's never more going to happen than it did when Moses took them out, what he called, to the promised land. That didn't happen. So it's not going to happen here. Why? Because it's an individual thing. Basically, the hope is, and it's definitely a hope because it takes the entire family to make this thing genuine. Then that hope is that that'll happen. But in the meantime, it is an individual thing. This message is an individual thing. How many Americans, 330 million Americans, it would be wonderful if all of you could accept God and forget Trump, forget the Republicans and Democrats, forget liberalism and conservatism, and think about love. What if all of us in America could do that? And all of us recognize the things that we love doing as far as careers are concerned, and it's open for us and we can just get into it. And if we fall short of education, all those institutions are open for us 100%. We don't have to worry about anything in that regards. Healthcare, those things that are been made manifest by the hands of man are open to us now because we understand what life is all about. So we're giving ourselves to that which makes life wonderful so that our lives will be wonderful as we live here and won't be in that, what we call, in that choice section of the other. No, we're walking down that same path in line with the creation. We were made to live in peace, to be prosperous, to be free, to live our dreams, never have to worry about anything because the resources are here. We need something, we got the skills, we doing and we taking care of it now here and we keep right on smiling. No crook coming in line talking about there's a better way. Try some money. It'll show you how you can have more than your neighbor because now you can outsmart your neighbor. Your neighbor is dumb and stupid. Your neighbor is of the other race. You can take advantage of them. They don't matter. Let's take away their freedoms. I tell you what we're going to do. Let's take them back to slavery. Why? Because we are the people that are the descendants of slave masters. And we're not going to be overcome by no descendants of slaves. I don't care how wrong we are. Our might will make it right. and we're going to keep the guns. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I use that little analogy to just highlight what we are dealing with every day. This is the kind of stuff that happens in hell. But these same people that do stuff like that go down and try to make you think that they're about God, and they're calling all in Africa, telling the magic powers of God to come from Africa and come down and help these demons get power so they can do more demonic stuff to the people here in America. This is what the people who call themselves lifting up God are doing. Well, see, this is the group. But the individual, the you, the me, if we're standing up, they can't trick us. Why? They'll try because that's all they know. But it is by our virtue, it is by our difference, it is by our reality that enlightens them. So, I mean, earlier, if I had come this way, I would have really loved to connect it together. But one thing I do want you to remember, exposing one lie just to replace it with another lie is no answer. And let me just close with this, just to give you an example. You know, the Republicans right now, they're going around talking about what Joe Biden isn't doing, what the Democrats are not doing. They really are talking about, they're stopping stuff. They're not telling you about any solutions, any answers they got. So basically what they're saying, let's just stop them and put us in. Well, you ask them, well, what you going to do? Well, we don't know yet. Just put us in, then we're going to put our boss in, and our boss is going to tell us what we're going to do. You see what I'm saying? They're going to put their boss in. They want to put Trump in, their boss, who would tell all of them what to tell us to do, and they just sit back and do it. That's how hell works, ladies and gentlemen. That's the same hell that's working all over the world. It might not be to that extent in every portion, but it's headed that way and much, much worse. And if you think you can just hang around here and let that thing swing below your knees and it's going to save you, it's not going to do it. You're going to have to get up off your butt and do something, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, you're going to have to go higher. You're going to have to go higher. You're going to have to go as high as you know to go. And if you do that, everything is all right. I'm going to let you go now. Talk to you next time. Goodbye. They were scared that time.